Jimmy, I'm sorry. I came as soon as I got here.
You got in this morning.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for films inspired by unsolved historical mysteries.
Poor Betty. The problem wasn't too many enemies, it was too many friends.
Number 20, Escape from Alcatraz. In 1962, 3 inmates pulled off one of the most infamous prison breaks in history by escaping from the heavily fortified Alcatraz.
Is it true no one's ever bust out of here?
That's all they tell me.
Jesus.
Their daring attempt became the focus of this 1979 movie starring Clint Eastwood as the mastermind Frank Morris.
You still reading that Bible? Oh yeah, it's opening up all kinds of new doors.
As depicted in the film, Morris and his accomplices chiseled through cell vents, crawled through a utility corridor, and set off on an improvised raft, all without being caught. Their absence wasn't noticed until the next morning, by which time they were long gone.
Morning, Sergeant. What have you got?
Photos and a notebook of Clarence Anglin. Funny-looking bag. Must have been made from a raincoat.
Even with an extensive search, no bodies were found. The FBI eventually concluded they likely drowned, but some folks believed otherwise. While the film's ending hints at a successful escape, there's no proof the men survived. Number 19, The Bank Job. Some aspects of this Jason Statham-led heist movie may be dramatized, but the real 1971 robbery was just as wild.
A bank.
A bank, as in rob. How would you know about a bank?
Inspired by a Sherlock Holmes story, a gang of thieves tunneled their way into a Lloyd's bank from a shop 2 doors away. While the robbery was still in progress, a radio buff overheard their walkie-talkie chat and alerted the police.
Police here, can I help you?
Yes, I'm a ham radio operator, and I think I may be overhearing a robbery in progress.
His first warning was dismissed, but after recording the gang's conversations, authorities launched a frantic search. A month after the heist, some members of the crew were caught, but not all. The film unravels the mystery of whether the stolen content included compromising photos of Princess Margaret. But to this day, nothing has been confirmed.
I think what these robbers were really after were photographs. Photographs of a certain royal princess.
How do you know that?
Well, because on this point I believe my captive. No man could withstand the pain we inflicted on him.
Number 18, Changeling. This tale unfolds a parent's worst nightmare. Angelina Jolie stars as Christine Collins, a mother whose child goes missing, only for the police to return the wrong kid 6 months later.
Boy, this age, it changes so fast. We've compensated for that in our investigation. And there's no question that this is your son.
That is not Walter.
When she refuses to accept this imposter, she's branded an unfit mother and sent to an asylum. As bizarre as it sounds, this happened to the real Christine in the late 1920s.
Has this been going on for a long time? People changing, becoming something other than what they are?
People don't change.
You don't think people change?
No, that's not what.
Her fight against the police exposed deep corruption, but the real tragedy was her son's fate. It was later discovered that Christine's 9-year-old, Walter, was among the victims of the Wineville chicken murders. Though the killer's mother confessed to the crime, Christine never gave up hope and continued searching for her son.
Maybe Walter's out there having the same fears that he did. Afraid to come home and identify himself, or afraid he'll get into trouble. But either way, it gives me something I didn't have before tonight.
What's that?
Hope.
Number 17, Eureka. Starring Gene Hackman as a gold prospector, Eureka follows a man who strikes it rich during the final days of the gold rush.
Hey! Frida! Frida!
Years later, he's a restless tycoon who has a strong dislike for his daughter's husband.
Get out of my house!
It's only gold, Jack. Like all things, it'll pass. And when it does, I'll send it back to you.
The film's tension increases as he clashes with his unscrupulous business partners, only to meet a violent end at the hands of a ruthless gang. Though the film has several shortcomings, here's the kicker. It's actually loosely based on the grisly murder of Harry Oakes, a wealthy gold miner in the 1930s. He was killed under mysterious circumstances, and the prime suspect, his son-in-law, was later acquitted. Decades later, the case remains an unsettling enigma, with no resolution and no justice.
Once upon a time, I was Jack McCann. I had a name. I don't know how much longer I can hold on, Emma.
Number 16. The Pursuit of D.B. Cooper. In 1971, the infamous D.B. Cooper hijacked an aircraft headed to Washington using a fake bomb threat.
It'll be just a few seconds because things are a little bit tense out here.
His ruse was successful, and he secured $200,000 in ransom before parachuting into oblivion. Despite one of the biggest FBI manhunts, no one knows if he survived or where some of the money went.
Would you open up this floor plate, please?
What's going on?
Would you open up that floor plate, please, Mr. Johnson?
This 1981 film takes that mystery and runs with it. But anyone expecting a deep insight into the real heist may be disappointed, because the film draws from J.D. Reed's 1980 novel, Freefall, adding its own twists. Cooper becomes Jim, a clever ex-military man, dodging an agent while his estranged wife gets dragged into the mess.
All right, so you expect me to just drop everything and go off with you and forget about all that stuff that's ever happened?
Absolutely.
It's far from fact, but still an entertaining ride.
So what are you going to do with it?
With what?
The money.
Oh, yeah.
Number 15. Fire in the Sky. In 1975, a group of loggers were driving down a forest road when they noticed a strange light.
Oh my God.
According to his crew's account, Travis Walton got out of the truck and was struck by a beam of light. Terrified, his peers fled. And when they returned minutes later, Walton was gone.
I searched the woods, but he wasn't. There was nothing.
They reported the incident to the police, who, with no trace of Walton, suspected foul play. 5 days later, Walton returned, claiming he'd been taken aboard an alien spacecraft.
Mr. Walton, can you tell me what they look like? Can you tell me how many of them there were?
Some believe his outlandish account was influenced by a made-for-TV movie, and over time, clues hinted at a possible hoax. Still, no one's cracked the case completely. The film Fire in the Sky retells Walton's wild story, amping up the horror for thrills. Number 14. Memories of Murder. Between 1986 and 1994, an elusive serial killer terrorized South Korea, brutally murdering 15 women and girls in rural areas. Despite efforts to stop him, he evaded capture for 30 years.
서 형사. 예. 뭐시 삥하고 오는 거 그런 거 좀 없나?
글쎄요, 오늘 보신 것처럼 범인이 워낙 빈틈이 없고요.
But in 2019, his luck ran out as Lee Chun-jae was finally unmasked. Already in prison for killing his sister-in-law, he also confessed to the Hosong murders, though he was never prosecuted for them.
이걸 이렇게 잘 말리면은 이 얼룩얼룩한 게 범인의 얼굴 형상이 돼서 나타난다 이 말씀이야. 말도 안 돼요. 이게 이 새끼가 부정타겟이지.
Back in 2003, when Memories of Murder hit the screens, this killer's identity was still unsolved. Director Bong Joon-ho expertly captures that dark time through the perspectives of two detectives trapped in an endless chase for South Korea's first confirmed serial killer.
말해. 네가 죽였다고 말해. 말해.
Number 13. The Vanishing. How far would you go for the truth? Rex and Saskia are a young couple on vacation. They stop at a gas station, and Saskia goes in to get some beverages and never returns.
Oké, zal ik even wat halen?
Nee, ik trakteer. Zal ik voor jou een biertje nemen?
Obsessed with finding her, Rex's persistence leads him to the man who abducted her, who offers him a chilling proposition.
Qu'est-ce que vous lui avez fait? Je vais vous le raconter, je vous l'ai promis. Mais la seule façon de vous le raconter, c'est de vous faire vivre exactement ce qu'elle a vécu.
As nightmarish as it seems, this tale draws partially from true events. Tim Crabe, author of the novella behind The Vanishing, was struck by a newspaper article about a female tourist who went missing during a bus trip. While many details were fabricated for fiction, that real-life case planted the seed for this thriller. But unlike the real woman, Saskia doesn't get a happy ending. Number 12, 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. In Martin McDonagh's gripping crime drama, Frances McDormand plays a grieving mother outraged by the police's failure to apprehend her daughter's killer. So she rents billboards at strategic locations, calling out the chief of police for his inactions.
Right now, there ain't too much more we can do.
Could pull blood from every man and boy in this town over the age of 8.
There's civil rights laws prevents that, Mrs. Hayes.
The idea struck McDonough during a trip when he spotted a couple of billboards accusing a man of killing his wife, Kathy Page, and slamming the police for their incompetence.
What's with the new attitude, Dixon? Your mama been coaching you?
No. My mama doesn't do that.
This haunting imagery sparked his 2017 film. And McDormand's fierce character was born from the director's vision that only a fierce mother could have placed those billboards. Not much is known about the real case, but this movie sure proves that inspiration can spark from raw, real pain in the unlikeliest corners.
Yeah. Still no rest. How come, I wonder? Because there ain't no God and the whole world's empty and it doesn't matter what we do to each other? I hope not.
Number 11, Rear Window. In Alfred Hitchcock's classic thriller, James Stewart plays an adventurous photographer stuck at home with a broken leg. Bored to death, he begins spying on his neighbors.
The New York State sentence for a peeping Tom is 6 months in the workhouse.
Oh, hello, Stella.
They got no windows in the workhouse.
When a man's wife suddenly vanishes and he begins acting suspiciously, Jeff becomes convinced he murdered her.
Why would a man leave his apartment 3 times on a rainy night with a suitcase and come back 3 times?
For Mrs. Thorwald's mysterious fate, Hitchcock drew from 2 real cases: the 1910 murder of Corinne Henrietta Turner and the 1924 killing of Emily Kay, both at the hands of their partners. Mrs. Thorwald's ring being a pivotal clue in discovering the truth mirrors Harvey Crippen's slip-up in Turner's murder, while the search for the victim's head echoes grim details of Kay's case. Though both murderers met the gallows, some details of their crimes remain shrouded in mystery.
Say something. Say something. Tell me what you want.
Number 10, The Strangers. Strangers writer-director Brian Bertino was directly influenced by the Manson killings and the accompanying true crime book Helter Skelter. However, many critics and academics also note strong similarities with a quadruple homicide that occurred in 1981.
Can I have one? Are you a sinner?
In April of that year, Glenna Sharp, 2 of her children, and a family friend were killed in Keddie, California.
It happened 40 years ago this month. I sat down with the 2 main detectives on this case who say they are close to solving this once and for all.
The historic event bears many similarities with The Strangers, including the isolated setting, the breaking into of a private residence, and the vicious nature of the killings.
You don't have to do it. You can stop now. You... Please!
The main suspects in the case are Martin Smart and his friend John Bobidet, but they both died without being charged thanks to a tragically bungled investigation. Number 9, The Mothman Prophecies. The Mothman is one of the most enduring legends in modern American folklore. Between November 1966 and December 1967, the West Virginian city of Point Pleasant was inundated with sightings of the Mothman. Famously described as a large man-bird hybrid, the Mothman became a national sensation when ufologist John Keel published his investigative book, The Mothman Prophecies.
Before Mothman things took off around here, it was pretty much dead. Like, even when I was growing up, Main Street was empty.
He argued that the Mothman was a supernatural creature with connections to the Silver Bridge, which collapsed in December of 1967, killing 46 people. Keel's famous book was turned into a movie in 2002, starring Richard Gere as a journalist who becomes entangled in the mystery. The enjoyment of this one hinges entirely on how much stock you put into the Mothman legend.
And what if nothing happens? What if there's no great tragedy, John? What'll you do then?
Number 8. Mesmerized.
And what they have to say is the following. We do not know how Oliver Thompson died.
Starring Jodie Foster and John Lithgow, Mesmerized is loosely based on the mystery of the Pimlico poisoning. Named after the London district in which it occurred, this event concerns the bizarre death of Edwin Bartlett. Bartlett had been found dead with chloroform in his stomach. However, no one could figure out how it got there, as his throat and larynx were free of burns.
Experienced physicians have informed us that medicine cannot explain how a poisonous substance could have found itself in the stomach of Mr. Oliver Thompson.
Bartlett's wife Adelaide was arrested and charged with the death. However, a significant lack of evidence resulted in her acquittal. No one knew how the chloroform got into Edwin's stomach, with some arguing that Edwin gulped it down quickly to end his own life.
We do not know how Oliver Thompson died. And if, gentlemen, we do not know this, how can we possibly give the blame for his death to a frail woman?
Adelaide Bartlett later disappeared from public record, taking any potential answers with her. Number 7. The town that dreaded sundown. The people of Texarkana were not enjoying ice cream and sunsets during the summer of 1946. Instead, they were locking themselves inside their homes and watching the police patrol their neighborhoods. It was the town that dreaded sundown, and that's because the Phantom Killer was on the loose.
Past 2 weeks, this place has been a madhouse.
You don't suppose you could get some of your units to check some of those lovers' parking hangouts, do you?
The evasive culprit had killed 5 and attacked 8 throughout the preceding spring, with all of the crimes occurring on weekend nights. The killer was never caught or identified, although many experts believe it was career criminal Yule Sweeney.
Yule Sweeney, car thief, habitual criminal, longtime con. In the end, a lot of the evidence does seem to point to him, and thus, mystery solved. Well, maybe not.
The story greatly inspired the cult slasher, which was filmed in the real area and employed the locals as extras. To mirror reality, the killer's face is never seen.
And if you should ask people here on the streets what they believe happened to the Phantom Killer, most would say that he is still living here and is walking free.
Number 6. Willow Creek. Like the Mothman Prophecies, Willow Creek wants you to believe in a mythological creature.
I'm Jim Kessel. I'm here at the Trinity National Forest along Route 96, also known as the Bigfoot Byway.
Perhaps the most legendary object of modern American folklore, Bigfoot has generated endless discussion throughout the years.
How far away was she when you first saw her?
Just across the creek. About like from here across the creek.
The cryptid's popularity skyrocketed in the late 60s with the Patterson-Gimlin film, which purports to show Bigfoot sauntering around the woods of Northern California. The short film serves as a microcosm of the Bigfoot debate, with some screaming hoax while others insist on its authenticity. The Patterson-Gimlin film is directly referenced in the found footage film Willow Creek, which sees a couple traveling into the forest to film their own Bigfoot video.
I'm here with my girlfriend, Kelly Monteleone, where we plan on retracing the famed 1967 Patterson-Gimlin footage and our search for Bigfoot.
It's an undertaking that many have done, hoping to catch a glimpse of America's greatest legend. Number 5. The Entity. A cult favorite, The Entity is about a single mother named Carla Moran who is sexually assaulted and terrorized by a poltergeist.
Mom, there's nobody here.
Call the police! Call the police!
Mom, there's no one in the house! The front door's locked!
Moran is directly based on Doris Byther, a woman who reportedly experienced paranormal events in the mid-70s. Byther contacted parapsychologist Barry Taff and relayed that she had been assaulted and stalked by a malicious entity.
But when my son came in, there was nobody there.
Right. And what did he think? Your son?
Thought I was dreaming.
Mm-hmm. And what do you think happened?
Taft didn't believe the assault claims, but nevertheless agreed to investigate Byther's house. He and assistant Carrie Gaynor reportedly experienced significant poltergeist activity, and Taft labeled it an official haunting.
I mean, I'd rather be dead than living the way I've been living. Do you understand that?
Yes, I can understand that. Yes.
Others are more skeptical, arguing that Taft was a poor investigator who misinterpreted harmless events as paranormal evidence. Number 4. The Black Dahlia. Directed by Brian De Palma and starring an A-list cast, The Black Dahlia is based on James Ellroy's semi-fictional novel of the same name. The story is based on the famous case of the Black Dahlia.
Investigation of upper half abdominal cavity reveals no free-flowing blood. Intestines, stomach, spleen, liver, all removed.
Real name Elizabeth Short, the Dahlia was infamously killed in 1947, and her death remains one of the most tantalizing unsolved mysteries in modern history. Ellroy's novel blends fiction with fact, basing much of the story in reality while making up various fictitious elements. One of Ellroy's inventions is a character named Ramona, who is eventually revealed to be the killer.
She looks so like my Maddie. It was the cruelest joke.
De Palma carried this over into his film, with Fiona Shaw playing the murderer. In real life, no one has the faintest idea as to who killed Elizabeth Short.
The basic rule of homicide apply. Nothing stays buried forever. Corpses, ghosts, nothing stays buried forever.
Number 3. From Hell. The very name of Jack the Ripper is synonymous with unsolved crimes. Back in 1888, an unknown person terrorized the seedy London district of Whitechapel, killing at least 5 sex workers.
With all due respect, sir, I believe this was done by someone with at least a working knowledge of dissection. Either an educated man, such as a doctor,
An educated man? That's preposterous. No well-bred man would do this.
This instantly became the biggest true crime story of its age, thanks to the ferocious nature of the killings and the media sensation that it inspired.
We are in the most extreme and utter region of the human mind. A radiant abyss where men meet themselves.
It has become legend by remaining unsolved. The movie takes its name from the famous From Hell letter, which was a piece of correspondence allegedly written by the killer. Included with the letter was half a human kidney.
From Hell. Well, at least they got the address right.
The case has inspired numerous films, including this horror thriller starring Johnny Depp as Detective Frederick Aberline. Number 2. The Irishman. One of the biggest questions that has plagued America since the mid-70s is, what the heck happened to Jimmy Hoffa?
Every decade, new reports surface and new searches are conducted. All dead ends.
Hoffa was a prominent labor union leader who got involved with organized crime and disappeared in the summer of 1975. His body has never been found. In 2004, an investigator named Charles Brandt published the nonfiction book I Heard You Paint Houses, which is about labor union official Frank Sheeran.
You ever show up late?
No.
Do you have any moving violations?
No.
Do you drink on the job?
No.
You ever hit anybody?
On a job?
Yeah.
No.
Sheeran claims to have killed Hoffa on orders of the Buffalino crime family, and this event is played as gospel in Martin Scorsese's film adaptation. It's important to note that nothing has been confirmed, and many people doubt the authenticity of Sheeran's claim.
Let's get out of here. Come on.
To this day, Hoffa's disappearance remains a mystery. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into Settings and switch on your notifications. Number 1. Zodiac. This is a different kind of true crime film. Rather than focusing on the killings, the movie devotes 2.5 hours to the investigative process.
He stops, puts it in park, boom.
I shoot him on the right side. He slumps right.
Maybe you've got your hand on his collar when you shoot.
This makes it all the more frustrating because, as we know, the Zodiac killer was never caught. One of America's most notorious serial killers, the Zodiac took at least 5 lives in California and taunted both police and media with boastful letters.
We've got some good things working for us.
but it takes time, and to be able to reach out and pluck this guy out of the air isn't done.
They suddenly ceased communication with the media in 1974, following one last letter, and the trail went freezing cold. A team calling themselves the Case Breakers claimed to have solved the case in October of 2021, but experts quickly cast doubt on their claim. The case was not in fact broken and officially remains open.
I can't prove this. Just because you can't prove it doesn't mean it's not true. Easy, Dirty Harry.
Which of these unsolved mysteries scared you the most? Let us know in the comments below.
It's not my son.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.